Hey, what's up guys? Sam Carlson here with 25th West. Today, I'm going to be sharing something with you. I get asked this kind of stuff all the time. How can we close better? How can we basically take leads, convert them into patients? What does that process look like? So I took a minute. I jotted some notes, my thoughts down on this here notepad, and I'm going to walk you through it. So here's how I think I would like to do this is the first video is going to be focused more on the process, the beginning to the end of how this actually works. And then the second video will be more of a practice. Like we're going to break down each of these parts and actually apply some different phrases, some different psychological triggers and tools to each. And I think once we get done, you'll have a really good idea of what the closing process really looks like. And again, just before we get started, there's a lot of negative cachet around the word closing. All we're talking about here is proper communication. The people that learn to communicate the best are the ones that persuade and convert the best. So instead of talking about closing in this video, we're going to talk about converting. So again, I've got this all mapped out for you guys. You may be able to see it here. Okay, we're going to start here, end over here on this side. And it's going to work out really good. So I hope you guys absolutely love this. Before we get started, there is a shortcut. And if you want to know what the shortcut is, that is making sure that you hire the right person. So I understand that there are different personality profiles. Doctors, generally speaking, are not the sales type of people. They're not. They're more analytical. They're not the emotional type. So just understanding that alone is going to give you maybe the perspective to say, hey, maybe I should go and find somebody to do that. If that is the route you go, what I found to be the best personality profile for that type of person is an ENFJ. Okay, an ENFJ. And in the show notes below or in the video notes below, I will link a Briggs-Myers test that you can use to link that up and find out, hey, if you're in the process of hiring somebody and they're going to basically do the new patient education, marketing, whatever tasks you have them doing, pick the right person, start off on the right foot. Okay. Now, having said that, okay, you can learn how to communicate better. You can learn how to convert and persuade better. So we're going to get started at the very beginning. So this assumes that you're getting leads, that you're getting people to come into the clinic, okay? Now, before we get into that, it is really important to understand one thing. In fact, this book right here, okay? This book is called Great Leads, the 6 Easiest Ways to Start Any Sales Message. The very beginning of this book starts with where people fall on the awareness spectrum, meaning what do they know? That is the most important thing that you have to understand. When people come into your clinic, and especially if they're coming in through Facebook ads or any type of online traffic, that is considered a cold lead. Chances are what they know about what you do and what they need to know in order to convert is a big gap. Okay, so you have to bridge that gap in order for them to, take the leap and trust you. So before they ever come in, you need to understand that, hey, these people are at point A or maybe negative A, if there is such a thing. And it's your job to bring them across that bridge so they can make the choice that they need to. All right, so now understanding that, in fact, I'll probably make a video about that as far as the awareness spectrum. But for now, we're going to assume that these people are coming in essentially middle of the road awareness, meaning they know a little bit about what you do. They like the wellness approach. They like the holistic approach, the non-pharmaceutical approach. And now it's our job to take them from where they're at to a paying patient. So step one is something I call frame and filter. Okay, frame and filter is extremely important. From the very get-go, we have got to establish that what we're doing first is professional. Like we're not just hanging our shingle and doing this by chance. We are a professional outfit, and we do this, to get people results. And part of that, this is a really big and important part of that. Part of frame and filter is grabbing the positioning and being able to do that by making a big and bold promise. Okay. Again, video 2 is going to dive deeper into the specifics of how we do this, but we have absolutely got to take control of where they're at and let them know we are very serious about that. Okay. And what that's going to do is set what many call frame control, position, basically their opinion. What do they think about you? Are you a pushover? Are you a person that's authoritative? What do we want them to think about you? We want them to think that they've entered into a brand new way of doing things. Okay, that's what we want them to think. So our goal is to, when they come in, they know that they're dealing with a professional. Goal number 1. And when I say frame and filter, because some people are going to be turned off by that. Some people are going to be coming in for whatever discount offer or whatever free portion of your offer you're making available to them, and that's not going to fit with them. Okay, so that is number 1. Number 2 is something I call removing the sale. All right, so nothing is more nerve-wracking than having to sell. And I learned a long time ago that you can actually eliminate selling from the equation from the get-go by doing one thing, by removing it. And generally speaking, so here's what I do. When they come in and after I've framed and I filtered those people, the next thing I do to transition into my consult is I say, so doc, or so patient, whoever it is, I hate doing this, but I got to tell you why we're so amazing and why we're different than anything you've seen. And once I've done that, we won't sell anymore. We'll move on and start talking about how this is going to work for you. Fair enough? And so I've now got the permission. I'm now going to sell for about a minute. And in that minute, I'm going to make bold promises. I'm going to say, hey, we help people get rid of, bulging and herniated disc without surgery. Same thing with knees. We do this without surgery. Not all back pain requires surgery. Not all neuropathy requires an endless supply of pharmaceuticals to deal with just symptoms. Okay. And once I've done that and I've gone through my little mini elevator pitch, I say, okay, that sales part is over. Whew, it's almost like, they're relieved. You're relieved because now nobody's selling. Now we're in a consult. Okay. And that is a very powerful tool, for people to use because now they've effectively eliminated the sale from the conversation. Okay. So that is number 2. All right. Number 3, the expert consult. All right. I cannot tell you how many people shoot themselves in the foot during their consult. In my case, if I'm selling my services, I treat that like a consult. All right. What are the best things, the overarching rules inside of a consult? Okay. I heard a guy once say the 80-20 rule. You speak 20% of the time, they speak 20 or 80% of the time, meaning you're listening 80% of the time. An expert listens, and an expert listens actively. Okay. One of the things that you might, if you've ever studied selling or communication, they have this thing called mirroring. And mirroring is a tool that you can use that will help people feel like you're relating to them. And all you do is you take the tone of the conversation, and when they're communicating, when they're saying something, you repeat back to them, generally speaking, the last 3 words of what they said. Okay. So if they said, I get headaches 3 to 4 times a week, I would say 3 to 4 times a week. Now they know I've heard them. My tone communicates to them that is a concern for me. Okay. So the expert consult is 100% about listening more than talking. All right. We're going to get more into that because the consult in and of itself is a huge beast in and of itself. But guidelines: speak less, listen more. The next thing is proof in the negative. Everybody's going to come into your practice with a certain set of beliefs. All right. These beliefs are your kryptonite. They are the thing that are going to keep you from educating them. Okay. And we're not going to be manipulating them. We're not going to be persuading them against their will. However, when they come in with these fixed ideas and these fixed beliefs, that is something that's going to be an impediment from getting us to where we need to go to, and ultimately to be able to help them. So proof in the negative. This is actually part of the consult, but you want to make sure that you're doing this towards the tail end of the consult. And that is this: when people start relating previous solutions that they have tried, okay, maybe in this case we might say, I just had a family member go through lower back surgery, and now they've got lower back pain after the back surgery, and they didn't realize the amount of scar tissue that would come and go around, that particular part of their spine. And so now they've got this fixed idea that, hey, surgery was supposed to work. These other things that work, she tried chiropractic and decompression before. None of that stuff worked. So we have to start pointing to these common solutions that are a contrast to what we do. Okay? We don't do surgery. We have a non-surgical solution. So we got to start poking holes to those things. So we might say, so you did have, you had back surgery? Yes. How did that work out? Yeah, actually, did you know that X% of back surgeries end up in failure or end up, we have to provide proof in the negative. Okay, we have to provide proof that what they've tried before isn't a solution. It's masking a symptom. Okay, so proof in the negative is a really important part. Okay, so to this point, we've basically shined a light on the problem of what has been happening in their experience. Okay, the next piece is we're going to start bridging into a new way. Okay, a discovery, if you will. Okay, or a new belief, a new opportunity. All right, so we do that best through demonstration and education. Now, demonstration can be with, a thing. We can, demonstrate with any kind of widget, whatever it is, but it can also be testimonials and stories and experiences. We need to demonstrate how a new way is actually possible. And that is done through education. So in your tool belt of demonstration and education, your experience, case studies, common sense. I know it would seem like common sense might not work, but just by grabbing a prop and demonstrating how something works can give you a huge advantage and can make something very easy to sell. Okay. So demonstration, in fact, I'll link below a training we did for Watch Me Do videos. Watch Me Do videos are a type of branding video that only work because of demonstration. They're absolutely amazing for branding and things like that. And the same thing happens when we're bridging the gap of this new opportunity. We need to provide some visual proof, I don't always mean visual like, hey, we're seeing a thing, but visual like in their mind's eye, they can see this new thing, how it would work for them. All right, so demonstration and education. Now, demonstration and education are going to lead us to proof in the positive. Okay, now proof in the positive, as in contrast to proof in the negative, is, let's see how this works for you. All right, now this section right here and of itself, I probably will do another video just on this part because it's a pretty big topic, but proof in the positive lives on two levels: emotional proof and logical proof. All right. So emotional proof involves things that the five senses touch. Okay. How does this feel sensation wise? How does this, if you had a feeling, is that creating a new belief? What types of thoughts and feelings and experiences are you having right now that you can point to, that subjective, that emotional piece? Okay. We need to give them a new solution, and that comes by starting with the emotional journey first. All right. And then second is that logical piece. We can't simply just say, hey, it felt different, so let's go ahead and start you up with care. You can't do that. You need more than that. You need more backup. Okay. And so the next natural piece that you're going to need is the logical. Now, the logical, you may refer to it as objective. Okay. And really what we're trying to do at the logical step is we're trying to have something to point at that is proof. It's undeniable. It's something you can see. That might be increased range of motion. That might be a test. That might be blood work, whatever it is. Something that shows them, hey, when we tried this thing on you, we got a change. We saw it go from here to here. And that will give them and you the proof you need to take them to the right step next, which is a choice. Okay. At the end of the day, if you take them over this bridge, what's going to happen as they go through these different steps is they're going to become, a believer. They're going to gain this new belief. They're going to essentially convert themselves without you having to play word games or mind games. We're just taking them through the experience and showing and educating that what we do can help them. Okay. Now, I know I've drawn a very large process. In the show notes here or in the video notes, I'll have a layout of how that all works. But just understand that going through this process is an emotional journey. You're going to get a new belief. And at the end, instead of closing them, we're going to offer them a choice. Okay. And we're going to say something to the effect of, now, by the time most people get to where we're at right now, they understand how this program works, and we've showed them how it can work for them. So what I would like to know is, at this point, would you like to change this, or would you like to go back to what you were doing before? What makes the most sense for you? And it's a choice. And then we be dead silent. We don't say a thing. Okay? That experience for them is going to take some thinking. It's going to take some contemplating. When there's dead silence, that is the magic. You're going to sit, you're going to listen. And the next move is theirs. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, yeah, I want to make a change. Okay, great. Now you've taken them through the process, and you're going to simply present to them how that change is possible. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, there's going to be a second video to this video here, and I'm going to be a little bit more detailed on each step, maybe giving some different phrases and things that will help you lead from one step to the next. But again, the closing process is really just communication. It's understanding how to relate, how to help people get out of their own way. So hopefully this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.